So if you are out there, go ahead and just throw a chat in there. Let me know that you can see and hear me okay. And I'll get this stuff out of the way here. So happy Monday. We're back, ready for another week here. Just letting you know that I'm actually going to be going live again today at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then again on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, doing a blues thing. So if you're interested, you can certainly join me then. Looks like Castor is here. Hey, Castor, nice to see you. Jimbo is here. Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today, awesome, thank you, is we're going to be talking about picking strategies. When you play, there's a technique, or not a technique, but an idea that I always try and teach people, which is thinking about the points in which you're playing something and you get stuck, like your fingers get stuck in the wrong place. And what we want to do today is talk about that a little bit. Hey, Dickie. Hey, Steve. Shandon from Bangladesh is here. That's awesome. Thank you. Terry is here. Awesome. Okay, great. This is great. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So what I find a lot is when you're playing, you might wind up playing a particular thing. Like, let's say you're playing something where you're coming off an idea. And you wind up on your pinky, okay? And you're thinking, okay, so what is it that I have to do next? And so that's what I want to talk about today is when you're picking things, think about the fingering that you're using and think about the picking strategy. Are you using legato or using hammer-ons, pull-offs? Or maybe are you picking everything or trying to pick everything, that sort of thing. So that's what I want to talk about today. So what I'm going to do is go back to an arpeggio that I showed you a while ago if you've been watching these for a while. Hey, Devesh. I'm good, Steve. How are you? And what we're going to do here is I'm going to start off doing this. I'm just going to build from something we did a long time ago where I play this. In E minor, I'm going to go 7, 5, 4. So I'm just playing a triad there, just an E minor triad. And then I'm moving up to the next one, and I'm playing 9, 8, 7. So I'm playing 7, 5, 4, starting from the 5th string. And then I'm playing 9, 8, 7, starting on the 3rd string. Okay? And then I'm just going to end that by going to the 12th fret. So I have... Now, when we talk about picking strategy, we could even just start by talking about this. If you think about what I'm doing, I always think about when I teach people, you're either playing multiple notes on a string, which is what a scale really is. And so you're either picking down or you're picking alternates, or maybe you're using what we call economy picking, where you slice through a string, where you do 2 downs at the same time. There's lots of different ways we can approach this. But what I want you to think about is what's the best way that's going to work for you to be able to execute whatever it is that you're trying to do. So if you think about it, when I play this simple idea of just playing this 3-note arpeggio, just like that, okay? What I'm doing is I'm playing down, 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 and then I'm moving up and playing down, 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 and then I'm playing this last note as an up, because I played the last note down, so my pick is here, so obviously I'm going to want to come back up to play that last note. Now, I could have hammered it or something like this, and there'd be nothing wrong with that. That's the most important thing I want you to understand, is that when you're playing, the most important thing is you figure out what's going to work best for you for picking. But I want to get more involved in this than just this. This is the template that we're working off of. So, hey, Tally. Let me say hello to a couple more people here, find who we've got. Christoph is here. Redzuan, I apologize if I'm not saying that correctly. Michael is here. Awesome. Joseph is here. Cool. All right. Dana is here. All right, so let's keep going. Hey, Steve. Sebastian is here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in another little segment to this. So instead of just going like this, what we're going to do is we're going to add a lick to this idea. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this. Okay, so I'm adding in this note right here, which is the D, which is the minor 7th if you know anything about your theory, and if you don't, it's okay. So if I wanted to play that note right there, I probably would play that with an up because I just played these downs. So again, my pick is down here, so I'm probably going to naturally play it as an up. And I can do the same thing right there as well. Okay? But let's take this a step further. Let's say we wanted to create something where we're going to create repetition in our lick. So we got this together. We start doing this. And if you have your guitar handy, try this out and let me know what you're thinking and what works best for you. And if you don't, you can certainly comment later and we can chat about it as well. But what I'm doing here is I'm taking this idea of these 4 notes, my root third, fifth, and my minor seventh, and then I'm just going to start rotating playing these 3 notes. So I have. Now, coming out of that is something else we're going to talk about, but just thinking about that, what I'm doing is playing down, 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 up, and then down, down, up, down, down, up. That's how it's happening for me. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, so I'm playing 2 downs and then I'm playing that up. And really what I'm trying to do is place my guitar pick on the proper space up here or down here relative to what's coming next. All right, so as I do this, you see that? And we could do the same thing up here if we wanted to. You see that? Okay, so as I'm playing this, I'm deciding how I want to pick this. I wouldn't have to pick all those. Maybe I want to go, and I want to do that one as a hammer-on every time at the end of that. This is your picking strategy. That's what I want you to get out of this, is trying to figure out what's the best way of doing this. You know, sometimes people will tell you, well, you're supposed to pick everything, and then people will tell you, well, you should do legato, and you know, I'm old enough to where I've gone through the trends where everybody did legato and then everybody did picking and then everybody did legato again and now everybody's back on picking. I think the most important thing is figuring out what works best for you. I remember hearing an interview with George Lynch, if you know who George Lynch is, where he was talking about how he had developed his technique with Dokken and everything like that. And then all these, you know, the new players came out with Malmsteen and all these guys, and everybody was picking everything, and then he was like, well, I suppose I better figure this out, you know? So he spent all this time trying to learn how to pick everything, ultimately realizing it really wasn't his gig. That wasn't the way that he played. And then after all that time of trying to retrain himself, he just realized, hey, I play the way I play, and this is what I do. And that's really important for you to do as well, is figuring out what's the best way that works for you when you're trying to play. So now we're going to throw a wrench in this. It's going to get a little bit harder though, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to play this. I'm going to start with the same thing, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down back to the 4th string and I'm going to play 4-5. Instead of just playing 7-5-4, 7, and then 5-4-7 repeating like that, I'm going to play 7-5-4, 7, but then I'm going to play 4-5-4-7. And again, if you don't have your guitar with you, just got to kind of visualize what I'm doing here. So that's what I have now, kind of 2 different licks rolled into one. Now let me show you the problem with this. If I play down, 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 up, okay, that works pretty well, because that sends my pick back up here to get ready for that 4 that's coming up. So then what I would probably do is I would wind up playing this 4, and then maybe hammering to this 5, and then this 4, and hammering to this 7. So that would be one option. Because that hammer-on then gives me time to start all over. But see, it's that last note that was going to give us a problem if we decided to repeat this. You see, because we're up here, so we got to get back. And the problem is the pinky is already in use. You see, so that's going to make it very difficult to try and start all over again. So that's something else we need to be thinking about, is the fingering that we're using and what we would have to do. Now, I don't want to get too far off on that tangent because we're talking about picking definition right now. But so one option that you would have with this lick is to do the 4/7 as a hammer-on. And then maybe do these, let's just stay with the legato idea for now. So I'm doing a hammer-on, and then hammer-on, hammer-on. See? And that would be one way you could do this. Another way would be to pick everything. So you'd start off with a sweep idea of playing down, 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 and then after that, everything would alternate pick. So you'd have down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. And that would be okay too. Okay? And remember, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and travel across the guitar. We want to get to this next octave that I was showing you earlier. So what we're going to do is go... And we're going to move into that doing the same idea. So whatever we build here, we're going to try and build over here. Now, we may pick it the same way. We may change it. It's entirely up to us. Okay, but as I play... The one difference for me is that when I shift up, instead of playing that first note, it winds up being a slide. Now, that might not be the same thing for you, but as I play, I don't really, it's not natural for me to want to pick that. It's more natural for me to want to slide it. That doesn't mean it's going to be the same thing for you. But that just feels more natural to me, so that's what I would do, you see? So not only are you thinking about how you're going to approach this lick right here, you're also going to be thinking about how you're going to approach it in the next position. And again, we know that that next position is the same thing, but psychologically it doesn't always work that way when you're trying to play. Like sometimes it just feels different. You know, maybe because the strings are thinner or whatever, it can feel different to you, and you got to try and rethink that, okay? So as I'm playing, and that's the lick that we're trying to build today. And then we can do whatever we want afterwards, but... Mike says it's easier. Let me see what Mike said there. Mike Holt said... it's a smoother transition when you slide. Yeah, and you're right. But I could use that, because you're right. For me, it totally is. But I'm not doing it because I think it's smoother. I'm doing it because it just feels better. Unless that's what you mean by smoother. Because, again, at the end of the day, what I'm most concerned about all the time is how does it feel when I'm playing? What is it that I'm doing to make it feel the best so I can execute it the best so it sounds good to somebody who's listening? That doesn't mean that I don't challenge myself by doing it a different way to try and learn how to do it some other way. But if all of a sudden I was going to do this on stage or something like that, I would have to do it a way that feels best to me, feels most natural to me. And I have to be aware of that at all times. So there's always a battle of trying to do something different to develop a different way of playing, to improve your playing, all that sort of thing. And then there's the what's my comfort zone? When I'm picking, what's the best way of approaching this picking development to find what way works best for me when I'm playing? What effect am I using? I'm just using a little delay and reverb on here. It's just kind of my stock delay and reverb sound that I use for kind of everything. Who said that? That was, I'm not sure, it just says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who asked that, but greetings from Italy. Hello, this is an Ibanez gem. This is from 1992. That's what this is. Scott is here. Hey, Scott. All right, cool. So hopefully that makes sense to you. So as you're playing this week, what I want you to focus on is not how fast you can play it, although that can become the outcome, which is perfectly fine. But think about your approach first. What way do you want to pick this? Like even if I was doing legato, I still have to decide, do I want to do them all down, 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 down? Or do you want to maybe do down, up, down? You see, I could do something like that as well. You see, so that's the big thing to figure out is what picking strategy do you need to try and play something like this? So that's why I built this out. So there's 3 levels to this. Number 1 is the old one that we did a long time ago where I'm just doing this. And then we built this. Trying to figure out how to pick that. And then the third one we built was this one. Does that make sense? Okay. Somebody asked what this is. This is just my tuner. That's what this is. It's a little tuner that I just use at the back of my guitar. So it's not obtrusive when I'm on stage, but yet I can tune with it. So I don't tend to tune with a foot pedal because I use very minimal pedals when I play. But anyway, so hopefully that makes sense a little bit. Those are the 3 things that I want you to work on this week and see how they go. You can always respond underneath one of these videos, wherever it is that you're watching it. Let me know what you're thinking of that and let me know what works for you. But like I said, the ultimate thing I want you to think about is there are times when we need to change our technique or our approach to something to learn how to do something new. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a wonderful thing. But to be told that there's only one way to do something is silly, right? Just because somebody else does it some way and it's effective for them. It's effective for them because it makes sense in the way that they've practiced, in the life that they've lived, in the way that they play and everything else. The most important thing for you is to figure out what works best for you, okay? So as you're playing these things, you might need to go, oh boy, I really should learn how to do it this way because I can see the efficiency on doing that. Or this makes more sense to me, okay? So anyway, take care, stay positive, and if you get a chance, join me again. I'll be going live at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're going to be talking about blues today at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then again on Wednesday, at 10 a.m. Pacific as well. We're going to be talking about blues soloing, licks, scale strategies, different things like that. So anyway, everybody take care, stay positive, and